Hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. There's a couple babies that came out with her. Actually, 3 of them. And the other one's kind of run from me. But boy, they waste a lot of feed. I cleaned this water yesterday. And filled it up. So there's 3 more in here still. That means there's 4 out there with them. At least I'm guessing 4. There we go. Yep, all 7 are out there. Alright, I just wanted to check on them. I'm going to let them out for a little while. There's a little bit of grass popping up in here. And some weeds, of course, but a little bit of grass popping up. It's been about, I think they're 2 weeks old. So it's been pretty close to a month and a half since there was a lot of chickens over there. And I've got weeds popping up on this side and grass in a couple little spots. So, of course, it would take months for it to fill back in, but I'm gonna tell y'all, I am having the hardest time with that female turkey. If she's up and one of those Rhode Island Reds get up, she'll get on one of their eggs. But luckily, the Rhode Island Reds got on her eggs. So far, they're moving, you know, when they do change, they're still setting. But I need to look up on that Rhode Island Red, and I'm afraid that I need to look up under that turkey. This Rhode Island Red's probably going to jump up out of the pen or out of the nesting box. I'm knocking down the cobwebs so I don't have them all over my face. As soon as I get down here. Nope, still a bunch of eggs up under. Little mama hen there. Mama hen there, she didn't jump up. That means she's calmed down a little bit. That's good. I have not been home when they get up. I watch them on the camera, but I haven't been home when they get up off their eggs for me to go over there and check them. I'm not going to upset them and go in there and pick them up. It's too early in the evening for me to go collect the eggs, but I see 6 eggs in that nesting box from here. There's one right at the edge where it would roll under in that first box. And usually there's quite a few in those other two nesting boxes. But anyway, and as usual, there's one over here. I need to dump their water out and clean it as well. But the redbirds have been beating me to the blueberries for the last at least 3 or 4 days. But that's fine. You got to give nature some of them. But I've been throwing them a completely full scoop of scratch feed when I come out. And you see some of them, they all run up here to it when I first dump it. But then some of them get what they want and then go on back to scratching. So it is hot in southwest Georgia, y'all. We're not into the mid 90s yet, but the heat index is in the upper 90s. So I'm going to let them run until she takes them in there for the night. I'm going to let them get a little out of the pen exercise. You see their pen feathers are coming in. So they're looking really, really good. They're all healthy. So I'm pleased with that. I got 7 anyway. Now, my luck, 6 of them will be roosters, but that's what I got so far, and I'm hoping I can get at least 1 or 2 dozen out of those 3 dozen eggs that are in there. 3.5 dozen roughly. So if I can get 2 dozen baby chicks out of out of those 3 hens that hatch and live. I see an egg on the ground outside the pen over there. But if I can get a couple dozen baby chicks out of here, plus the 7 that I've already got, and those couple dozen survive, you know, that'll be a good start to having a young flock to replace these. Now, these are all less than a year old, but 1.5 years max. And that's because I bought a bunch of the Rhode Island Reds already grown. Even though they were young, they had not been laying very long. So they're probably about a year old. But the Easter eggers, I had them 2 months before they started laying, which is mostly what's right there. The 3 gray ones, and I know at least, I think both those black ones on the left are the Easter eggers. So they're all 5 there still scratching. 1 Rhode Island Red and a black sex link. And there's my barnyard mix over there. So I'm not even going to go look for the blueberries. From what I see from right here, looks like the birds have beat me to them again today. But I'm going to walk back here and look at this coupling vine. All right, it's really hanging over a lot on the inside. But as you can see, there are some muscadines or scuplings, whichever way you want to call them. So it's not going to be a whole bountiful harvest this year. But I do plan on coming down here with my snips and cutting this wire where it's choking the vine. The fence will be fine if I cut those, and that'll allow my vine to not be choked down the way it is. It is running down the fence on both sides, but it's trying to spread out, and there's nothing there to spread out to. But if you notice, nothing touches the electric fence. Uh-oh, I'm wrong. That one's dead. It's laying on the electric fence. But for the most part, it avoids the electric fence, so that's pretty good. But it's made it 10 feet to this T-post and going past it a little bit. So over the next couple of years, I'm hoping it'll fill this fence up and down both directions, and then it should be able to produce a good amount to make some jelly and stuff with. But let's see what the fig tree looks like. I still don't see any baby apples on this tree, although it had quite a few blooms. It's disappointing. Yep, there are little figs everywhere. It's full of green little figs. They're not nowhere near ready to pick. But usually the birds beat me to most of them. But I do want to try some cuttings off there and see if I can plant 1 or 2 more fig trees out on the other side of the property. And maybe eventually be able to harvest some to put up. But either way. All right, I've already been to the garden. We'll walk back over there and show y'all. All right, so I came out here yesterday, and it was later, but I pulled up 4 there, 4 more over there, corn stalks, and let's see, I think I got 4 over here. At least 3, I can see the root balls, but I pulled those up because they didn't have any corn on them whatsoever, and my corn was too thick. So I just pulled them up and I left the rest. And it looks like pretty much the rest of it has corn on it. So I didn't, of course I didn't pull those. But the green beans have been doing well. I've already got a 1.5 gallon Ziploc bag full of green beans. And I decided not to pick today. There's quite a few that I could pick, but they're not so big that it's going to hurt them to go another day. And we've been getting quite a bit of rain every day. I picked 1 smaller squash today and 2 medium-sized zucchinis today. So I've already taken those into the house. And apparently there's a beetle of some kind right there that likes to deal. But I did come over and check my watermelons. I've got 5 watermelons growing. There's 2 here. Actually 3. Let me see here. Nope, that's just 2. There's 2 here. There's another one over here. There's another one right there. And then the largest one right here. It's about the size of a soccer ball or whatever. And there was one more growing back there, a little bigger than a golf ball, but it just rotted away, gone. So, and the vines are running out, but I don't have anything else growing close to it, so I'm gonna let the vines run on out of the box. I did replant some squash in this bed, that bed, and a couple spots in with the green beans over there and those other 2 beds. But they have not come up yet, and those seeds have been in the freezer for quite a while. A lot of people say, you know, they ain't gonna do any good if they're in there too long. Well, they may be right. That one might pop up, but that one came up. The rest of them have not come up, and I replanted these a couple of days ago, so it's still a little bit early to see if they're all going to come up or not. But I'm going to show y'all. There are some decent green beans that are ready to be picked, but I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. It'll be a basket full tomorrow, and you know, there's no need to pick it every day. But I'm going to throw these corn stalks in my burn pile or something, because them stalks are hard to cut up and all that. And I still haven't got the other raised beds done. But when I do, I'm going to cover the seams of this existing fabric and all this grass, which means I'm going to have to weed eat it again. And cover it all up with landscape fabric, and then put the new raised beds down on it. And of course, I'll have to go buy some soil to put in there. And I'm going to get a wagon load of my compost, my chicken manure compost, and mix it in with the bed as I'm filling it up this time, instead of just doing the store-bought soil. That'll add a lot of nitrogen to that soil. And I'm not going to, you know, do a wagon load to a wagon load, but I'm going to mix quite a bit in there so that there's plenty of nitrogen. And that way, if I decide to replant, you know, it'll be ready. All right, so we've been getting a lot of rain. I've got a little over 1/2 inch yesterday. I got a 1/2 inch the day before. Just about every day we're getting quite a bit of rain over a couple of hour period. And I just haven't been out here filming, because late in the evening like this is when it's been, you know, storming and raining. But I did put my truck in the shop finally, which I've known for quite a while that I needed to get the brakes done. But the front right started scrubbing just a little bit. And then it felt to me like the back left was trying to lock up when I applied brakes. And even though I drive that truck pretty easy, I could tell something wasn't right, and I definitely needed to get them done. So I put my truck in the shop yesterday, and my son-in-law, Jeff, met me over there yesterday morning and took me to work, and then came and picked me up a little bit early from work and took me back over there and got my truck. So they ended up putting pads and shoes on it, on front and back, and replaced the caliper on the back left. And the brakes they feel like a brand new truck now. But either way, I still have new mirrors, outside mirrors to get put on my truck. But that means I got to take the inside door panels off, and I'm not going to do that when I've got to get up and go to work the next day. So hopefully, if the weather allows this weekend, I'm going to get those new mirrors put on the truck as well. And that's just a couple more things that's done. I've got a new fuel pump. Y'all know, if you've watched my channel very long, when I bought that truck about almost 4 years ago, I did a lot of work to it, or had a lot of work done to it. And we put a new fuel, it's got 2 gas tanks. We put a new one in the back with a new pump, because it did not work and the old tank was rusted through. So I put a new fuel tank in the back with a new pump. That new pump has stopped pumping. And the front pump is actually weak, and it's always been weak because it hesitates a little bit when I'm running on that front. So I went ahead and bought another new pump for the back tank. I've got to get that tank dropped and get that pump changed out and then put it back up, of course. And then if that works like it's supposed to, then I'll probably end up getting a fuel pump for the front tank and get it changed in the next couple of months. As long as one of them's working, I'm happy, but I don't like the idea of that pump that has less than 4,000 miles on it quitting like that. And I didn't buy the cheap pump. So anyway, I spent about $400 this week on getting the brakes and all redone on it. And a couple of weeks ago when I bought the fuel pump, I bought a new fuel filter and new air filter, and dang, I'm drawing a blank, but something else for it. And I spent a couple $100 then. So a lot of, you know, just like y'all, I'm working for a living, and when you spend that kind of money pretty regular, you don't have a whole lot else to do. And I'm not going to be hauling a bunch of soil in the back of that truck until I get it running right to fill these new raised beds. So I'm not in a big hurry for it. But I probably will be buying some small tarps pretty soon to cover up all these beds once they are done growing for the year and help keep the weeds out of them. But anyway, I needed to get a video done. The vine borers have gotten into my zucchini and squash. They've just decimated the squash. But one of the zucchini plants, maybe two, has got it. I'm still getting quite a bit of zucchini, so I'm not going to complain about that. But if these new plants that I planted sprout up and start growing, I'll probably go ahead and start pulling some of the squash and zucchini that's been in the big raised bed that the vine borers have, are tearing up. But anyway, that's what's going on here, guys. I appreciate y'all watching my videos, subscribing to the channel. My numbers went up a few more, and I appreciate those of you that are subscribed and watching the videos. That really means a lot. And if I can do raised beds, guys, and grow food, I know y'all can do it. Now, I know some people just don't have a yard or anything, they live in apartments or whatever, but I couldn't do that. I'd be in a mental hospital if I had to live in town. But if you've got any space at all, you can do grow bags, or you can do raised beds or something, and grow some food. And the more you do it, the more experience you get with it, the more you'll be able to grow. And I think we're all going to need to know that before it's over with. Y'all see the prices of food and the way the economy is. Prepping is a big thing, and being able to feed yourself is one of your main priorities. Looks like I need to water these tomato plants, but whew, I'll wait another hour or so. We got a few more hours before dark. The carrots are getting really, really big, but looking at the size of the one I pulled, they're not ready to pull yet. So I'm gonna let them continue to get big. And if y'all know what to do with this deal and when to pick it and all that good stuff, tell me about it. I have not done any research on it, and I need to, but I'm sure there's some of y'all out there that's grown deal and know when to pick and harvest and how to do it and all that good stuff, because I think you're supposed to dry it out. But y'all let me know. I appreciate y'all. Remember what I always told you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.